Hello everyone, welcome back once again. Please like and share the videos that I post, and please subscribe to my channel for interesting chess related content. So the game I'm gonna show today was played in the Robert Byrne Memorial, which has very strong players. This is a battle between generations as the more experienced player, Alder Escobar Forero, plays with the white pieces against his younger opponent from USA, Tianqi Wang. This game has many surprising twists, and there will be many insane positions where only a single move order is winning. So without further delay, let's start. Here Escobar has the white pieces and he opens with e4. We have c6, the Caro-Kann defense, d4, d5, knight c3, d takes e4, knight takes e4, knight f6, knight takes f6 check, e takes f6, and now c3. This is the main line, bishop d6, bishop d3, and knight a6. Here black wants to bring his knight to c7, and a knight e2 was played in the game. Knight c7, bishop f4 offering a trade of bishops, and now h5 advancing on the king side. Bishop takes d6, queen takes d6, and now knight to g3, targeting this h5 pawn. Now h4 was played, kicking away the knight. We have queen to e2 check, king to f8. For example, if you play bishop e6, you get hit with knight f5, and now you have some problems with this decent pawn, and you have to play a defensive move like queen f8, and it's just too much passive. So king f8 was played. In top level chess, you can never play passive or your opponent will crush you. Knight e4, queen to d8, and now long castle. We have g6, preparing a route for the king. King b1. When you long castle, it's one of the necessary moves that you need to play. a5, g3. Here black does not want to take because it will open the h file, and that's advantageous for white as black's king is troubling to find some shit. a4 was played, and now rook h1, and now knight d5 was played, whereas black should have played something like a3 and then provoke b3, and then maybe you can play knight d5 targeting the c3 pawn. This pawn is a potential motive, and if you play c4, then there's some knight b4. There's always something like that. But knight d5 was played, and now a3 by white. Now white has stopped a3, and now it seems that white is in the driver's seat in this game. So we have king g7, and now queen f3. Here white could have played something like c4, kicking away the knight, as now the knight cannot go to b4 as the square is taken away by the pawn. The same idea that I showed you before is not working here, and white would get an advantage, but he did not play that and played queen f3. Looking forward to targeting this f6 pawn, but f5 was played simply, and now the queen is doing nothing on f3. Knight d2 was played, and now suddenly you see that now black has the advantage. Now h3 was played, avoiding the opening of the g file. So knight c4, and now white wants to maneuver his knight either to e3 or to e5. Knight to f6, queen to f4. Now white immediately takes advantage of black's knight retreat. Bishop e6, and now f3, and now a very interesting and sharp move, queen d5. And now black is saying that if you move your knight, for example anywhere, for example knight b6 is not working here because of queen a2 check. and white is simply losing because of king c2. Queen b3 check is at least winning a piece here. Okay, so rook de1 was played by white, looking forward to playing rook to e5 and kicking away the queen. And now b5, threatening to kick away the knight. Knight e3 surprisingly. And you know why white cannot play rook e5? Because I think he saw queen d8 and now this rook is having some trouble. For example, if you have to play something like knight d2 maybe, and now just knight d5, and where will your queen go? You have to give up the exchange. You can't do anything else. So white saw this and played knight e3, and now queen to a2 check was played. King c1, queen to a1 check, and now bishop b1. You don't want to play king c2 because of bishop b3 check, and you lose this very important pawn. So bishop b1 was played, and now bishop a2, going all out. King c2 is the only move, as you want your rooks to support this bishop. Bishop e3 check, king c1, and now, believe it or not, black has at least a draw in this position by just repeating moves. King c2 is forced, and like this, he could have drawn easily, but he chose to play for a win. Knight d5, knight takes d5, queen e5 check was seemingly better move, and white should have played something like this. This is a computer variation. The computer recommends this line, and this is how white should have tried to hold this position. But knight takes d5. Exchanging the knights immediately was a mistake. And c takes d5. That's the reason. Now black will bring his rook and prepare to target the king. And so queen e5 check was played. If king to g8, and now queen d6, which is surprisingly a blunder. And white should have played g4 and tried to break through on the king side. You have to counter attack with attack sometimes. Queen d6 was played, and now rook c8, as I told you. The threat is simple. Rook takes c3 check. For example, let's play a random move for white. For example, let's g4. This rook takes c3 check. Takes, bishop c2, queen takes c2 is a checkmate. To avoid a scenario like this, white played rook e3, defending the c3 pawn. b4, a really strong move, and if a white plays a takes b4, for example, is a3, and it's over. And c takes b4 is not possible because there's a simply pin. So queen takes b4, king g7, and now the b pawn has been given back to white, and now black has the advantage of the b file. Rook e7, rook c4, planning to double on the c file. Queen to a5. You have to keep an eye on the c3 pawn because of the reason I told you before. And now a terrible blunder by black. Rook a8. Instead, rook at c8 is just simply winning, and white is holding on for dear life. Rook a8 was played, and now if queen takes a8, then simply rook takes c3 check, king d2, queen takes b2 check. That's not the point. But the point is rook takes f7 check, sacrificing a whole rook. And if king takes f7, then there's simply queen takes d5 check, king f6, and queen d6 check. And that's just a draw. Believe it or not, that's just a draw. King g7, for example, queen e7. You go to h8, queen f6 check, and king h7. You at least have this queen e7 check. Do not play queen f7, or he will run with via king h6. Because king h7, queen e7, king h6, then there is always queen h4 check. So king h6 was played in the game. As I told you, black wants to play for a win. g4, sacrificing a whole queen. You see, the whole queen is hanging, but it's not that simple. If you play rook takes a5, you get destroyed. g5 check, king h5, rook h7, checkmate. And of course, black saw this and went king g5, walking his king into danger. And now f4 check was the best move. And now after king takes f4, g takes f5 was the best. Let me show you the computer line. It's just crazy. You'll love it. Rook f1 check, king g4, rook g1. You cannot go to the h file because if you go there, rook h7 is checkmate. So that's just a repetition. But g takes f5 check was played, and that's a terrible blunder. King f4, fg6, king e3, rook e7, king f2. The king goes all the way to the 7th rank. Now rook e1. That's such a crazy move. And now if rook takes a5, which was played in the game, is rook e1 check, king e3. Sorry about that. King e3, rook e1 check, king f4, rook g4 check, king takes f3. You cannot go let go of the king because you will lose otherwise. King f2, rook e2 e3. That's a mistake. Instead, rook e7 should have been played, and after something like rook takes e3 check, you can at least take this. And now this is a very dangerous pawn. By the way, after rook e7, black's queen is in jail and he has difficulties stopping this pawn. Alright, so instead rook e3 was played, which is a mistake, and bishop d1, an amazing move stopping rook f3. In that here, if rook f3, bishop takes f3. In that case, after rook e7, there was rook f7 check, and the bishop could not stop it. But when white plays rook e3, bishop d1 actually stops rook f3. So g7 was played. I cannot play anything else, really. And now rook a8 was one of the ways to go. But rook b5 was played, going for the mate. And now b4 was played, now stopping the mate, and rook b8 stopping the queen. King takes d1, and it's completely winning for black. Queen takes b1 check, black gets a check. King d2, queen b2 check, king d1, and rook takes d4 check. He sacrifices his rook. C takes, queen takes, rook d3, queen a1 check. Can you believe? Black has a whole queen and he's giving checks, but is unable to make progress. Although it's winning, it's not so easy to win. King c2, queen a2 check, king d1, queen e2 check, king c1, rook e8. A terrible blunder, and yet an unfortunate one. d4 should have been played, and that's completely winning. For example, line goes here, g8, queen, then takes, and queen takes d3. And yes, that's just simply winning. d4 was the way to go, and to stop rook c3, and now rook c8 check is a grave threat. So rook e8 was played, and now rook c3. And now you see White's idea. He wants to play rook c2 and win the queen, and eventually win the game. Queen f1 check was played, which completely equalizes the game. Instead, queen e5 should have been played, and black is simply winning. Queen f1 check, king b2, rook e2 check, rook c2, and black is unable to make progressive. But it's not over. Rook takes c2 check, king takes c2, queen e2 check, king c1, queen e1 check, king c2, queen e4 check, king c1, queen h1 check, king b2, queen takes h2, rook g5, and remember, you cannot promote to a queen yet, as black would be winning after that. He has the second pawn, which is going to promote to a queen, no matter how hard you try. Rook g5 was played, and now king e3 check, king e1, queen h1 check, and now terrible blunder by white, king a2. Instead, king b2 should have been played. And the line goes here: h2, g8 queen, queen e4, rook g3 check, king f2, and now this queen g3 check, and is a crazy line that goes like this, and it's a draw. But king a2 was played, and the winning move here. Please pause the video and try to find the winning move for black. If you're able to do it, congratulations, as this is a unique move. The only winning move in this position is queen to e4, which was not played in the game, unfortunately. And the line goes like this: for example, g8 queen, h2, rook h5, and now you see the difference. First the king was on b2, but now it is on a2. So now queen c2 check. Earlier the king was guarding the c2 square, but now it is not. King a1, then simply queen d1 check, and you lose the rook and lose the game. But instead, black was unable to find this wonderful sequence and played queen h2 check, which is simply a draw. King a1, and after that, the players agreed to a draw. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon. Goodbye.